priest I really remember and admire is Father Plashko.
Father Tony Sabita from right here at Holy Redeemer.
When I think of a priest, pope, that's had an influence on myself or on the world, I think of Pope John Paul II.
One priest that stood out to me and that has made a big impact in my life is Father Matthew Weering.
His name would be Father Gary Bowlers.
He was the priest in Leavenworth, Minnesota, Church of the Japanese Martyrs. He baptized me, and then he was around a long time, so he spent many an hour in our farmhouse, just being there and kind of being a great friend of my parents. So he was the very priest who baptized me, who influenced me, and I'm sure put in my heart that desire to be a priest.
Hola, ¿cómo están? Mi nombre es Natalia Flores, soy una estudiante aquí en SMSU, estoy estudiando Escritura Profesional y Comunicación y soy parte del grupo católico aquí de la universidad. Voy a hablar acerca de un sacerdote que me ha influenciado hartísimo. Soy de Colombia, entonces allá en mi país él vivía en un cuarto muy pequeño, era un sacerdote muy sencillo que me inspiró a que no tenemos que hacer grandes cosas para ser buenos católicos. Pues las grandes cosas están bien, pero el hecho de hacer tu día a día pensando en Dios, pues es magnífico. For the ones who didn't understand me, I talk about a father who inspired me back in my home country. His life was really simple and he did what he had to do. And that inspired me a lot because he told us, like, you don't have to do greater things, you know, like do a lot of stuff, heal people or whatever, to please God and do what God wants. So basically your day-to-day while you're going to school or you're going, you know, hanging out with your friends, even, I don't know, at the cinema or stuff, you can do what God wants and inspire other people too.
He made a big impact in my life because I didn't go to the Cottonwood Parish, but we met through the church. He came to St. Michael's for one Mass one time and talked to me afterwards. And after that Mass, we continued to meet up every so often, every month or so, and just talk about my prayer life and just talk about my relationship with God.
The personal experience I have with my pastor, who was my pastor from first grade till just after I graduated from high school, Father Miles McGowan, who, by the way he treated my family and our difficulties, especially with my mother's illness, taught me that God was present in his priest and he was always there for us.
He was just a great leader throughout my life. I first met him my sophomore year of high school, and he really taught me what it means to be Catholic, as well as taught me a lot about church history.
The reason he has had such a big impact on my life is when I attend Mass on Sundays and he is the priest. He really connects his homilies to events that have happened to him or events that have happened in the world, and he really uses a conversational tone, but also a tone that is relatable to us in the 21st century.
St. John Paul II had many great quotes and many words for our nation, for our world. And one of the things he said back in the mid-'80s that stuck with me is, as the family goes, so goes a nation, so goes the world. And I think it's so true today. In our broken world, we're all looking for love, we're looking for peace. And we think of what are the things that really can make a difference. And I think it comes down to three things. Number one is a love and fear of God, which means to love God above all and to love our neighbor as ourselves. Number two, as Pope John Paul II said, the family, getting back to the family unit. A husband and wife, loving each other in a covenantal relationship forever. Mom and dad and children, learning to love and to serve each other in a family unit, and then bringing that to our society. And third is the sacraments and prayer. Availing ourselves of the sacraments as often as we can and praying daily. We can make a difference, you and I, each one of us, one person at a time, if we get back to truly loving God above all and loving our neighbor, everyone we come in contact with, as we love ourselves.
I really enjoy listening to his homilies, and he has made a big impact on me, not only as a person, but as a practicing Catholic, because I know how to take his homilies and apply them to my life and how to be a good follower and disciple of Christ each and every day.
And the Pope, of all things, is St. John Paul II, because thinking of my baptism and Father Plashko, when they asked John Paul, what was the most important thing that happened in your life? Without a thought, he said, my baptism, when I became a child of God. So I think of that Pope and that priest who baptized me as influencing my life in many, many ways. So, thank you.
He has taught me a lot of great things about the Catholic Church, about how important our Catholic Church is and our faith is, and just helped me grow in my relationship with God. So,
Quote from Pope Francis that really touched me was in the Year of Mercy. In the beginning of his document where he called us together said, Jesus Christ is the face of God's mercy. This statement could sum up the Christian faith. That's just beautiful to say that's what we're about, is forgiveness.
One of my favorite moments that I had with a priest/pope was when I went over to Rome. I was actually able to pray in front of the tomb of JP2 with Father Craig giving the homily. And one of the quotes that I took with it and I lived my life by is, do not be afraid, do not be satisfied with mediocrity. Put out into the deep and let your nets out for a catch. And that's just stuck with me with my life, and to just not be stagnant with my faith and to continue growing, because there's always opportunities and little ways that you can grow with God. And that's what I really took away and I lived my life by.
About a year ago, I was in Rome and I had the opportunity to meet Pope Francis. There's the Pope, and right up here is me. And during that time, Pope Francis had directed our group to pray for him and not against him. This is a quote that has stood out to me in my life, in being able to think about how we are called to pray for the church leaders and to remember that we are unified and that these church leaders descend from Peter. This is an opportunity for us to pray to strengthen our church, to unify our church by following this simple quote from Pope Francis of pray for me and not against me.